Hi everyone, thanks for coming back. I'm Kris and I'm your Cardvoyant, and welcome to another reading. This is a very short reading. I just want to pull perhaps one card, and then I want to talk about a couple of things that I thought might be hopefully interesting, but hopefully something that can benefit those of you who are watching. So right now I'm going to shuffle as I do, and as I do that, I'm going to try and connect to spirit, to my guides, and also the guides that I've come to think of as masters who are very involved in what we're going through in the world today, and what's going on, and purpose, and those kinds of things. So allow me to shuffle just for a second. I will probably edit this out, but I'm still going to do it so you can see what's going on. And I'll tip this down so you can see. So here we have our one card. Oh, well, that's kind of awesome. The King of Cups. Now look at this wonderful, wise, benevolent, kind King of Cups. So here's the thing about this king. This king is in all of us, but it's also our possibility, right? We're all really worried right now about everything that's going on, obviously, and about the people who are in control of what's going on right now. And what this card is telling us is that, first of all, we all have this in us. We're seeing so many more people now. We're seeing so many people step forward with love and compassion. I mean, look at all the healthcare workers, look at the people who are going above and beyond to help others. This outpouring of love for those that we know who are sick or who have passed because of this virus. This is a kind of love that we need to and do tap into in times of crisis, which is what we're in. But it's also an assurance of let me find the right word here, the skill and the possibility of leadership. We do have this possibility, this promise even of leaders who reflect this deepest part of ourselves, this deep loving part. I have felt for a while that there's somebody coming forward in the presidential nomination who is a younger person. I feel male energy. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a man. It can be that sort of forceful energy, but I do kind of think it is. But this younger figure that steps forward, who sort of exemplifies this King of Cups ideal. But it's not just in this country. It's that recognition throughout the world that the way our world is shaped is often determined by the leaders that we elect or bring to power or respect or follow. And this is not just governments. This is also in business. This is also in our churches or other institutions like that, where we have to understand and come to acknowledge and forcefully require of our leaders to be this King of Cups. And they can be other things too. I mean, hopefully they're also wise, and all these other things that we might see exemplified in other cards. But at the heart, at the most important part of this, is that we need this King of Cups figure who can rule with loving intention, always with loving intention, with the deepest, most important part of themselves being this ideal of loving our fellow man. And that's what we're rooting out, the people who aren't that, and coming to understand in the deepest, most difficult way that this is what we need in order to build the kind of life and future that we want. Life for ourselves, future for our children, our planet. Okay. And it's also about love of many things, love of our planet, love of, our fellow man, of course, animals, nature, fairness, justice, all of these things have to be rooted in love. And it is incumbent upon us to only support those people who understand this and can lead us in truth with that love. All right, so that's our sort of card for the day. I wanted to mention one other thing that is kind of an experience that I had, and I know that I'm going to use it as the title for this video because just like, I've said in some other videos that in my career, my working career, I was a writer, and this is often how I did things. I would have a title first and then sort of build up to or around that title. That's how it came to me today. But I was in meditation today. And I have to tell you that it's not always easy to meditate. Don't feel bad if you have to have a day or two or, parts of the day when you just sort of have to let yourself down and just, wallow in whatever you need to wallow in, whether it's sadness or fear or, just exhaustion. That happens. We're all faced with that. I definitely go through that. Definitely have days when I just think it's almost like anger. I'm going to meditate. Look at the world. But it's, of course, we need to rise out of that too, and so give yourself a break, but work towards rising out of that. And I was able to today. I was able to spend some time meditating, and as I was meditating, I often will picture a scene in my head that sort of makes me calm, and mine sort of invariably will revolve around the beach. And I have a couple of sort of go-to scenes, and so I was doing that, and I realized that this is a scene that I picture when I think about my future. And it's my own little dream, my own little thing. You probably have yours. But I realized today that I was doing that I was thinking about the future. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, well, texting, because we weren't in person, so we were texting back and forth. And I said, one of the most difficult things about this period, the density, the heaviness of this period, is that I haven't been able to think of the future. And this, maybe you're experiencing the same thing. You're so mired in what's happening, trying to figure out how do I get groceries? I'm running out of toilet paper or paper towels, or how am I going to get through that? If you have a health issue, or if you need, or if you're still, if you're an essential worker and you're going to work, this fear and this constant this constant churning in your mind of how do I stay safe? Have I washed my hands enough? Should I touch this? All those kinds of things, they're so dense and they crowd around us so much. And I've been going through that. And part of what's happened to me is that I can't think about the future. I haven't been able to picture a future at all. And I realized that I've had this happen to me at least 2 other times in my life that were particularly difficult times. And this friend that I was talking to, we went through this particular time, one of the particular times together, and are still trying to sort of rise out of that. It's taken a lot of work. But when we were in the depths of it, and when I was in the depths of this kind of first time that I remember, and then now, that has been something that was a part of it, was I couldn't think about the future. It was like you think about this day and then it just cuts off. You can't think beyond how do I get through today, or how do I get through this week. And I'm sure this is especially those of you who are personally affected, either being ill yourself, knowing someone who's ill, or having lost someone. I'm sure it's particularly close to people who are, now with your kids 24/7, trying to make sure they're safe, trying to make sure they're schooled, trying to make sure they're entertained, all of those things. It's just a lot, and it feels heavy on us. It feels dense, just this energy of denseness. And it was such a light feeling today to suddenly realize that I was thinking about the future, that I was thinking about, well, what I'd like to do in the fall, or, for next Christmas, what I'd like to do, because I was kind of thinking about family. In March, we have a bunch of birthdays. I've three sons who have birthdays in March. I had a grandson who had two grandsons who had birthdays in March, then some cousins and stuff like that. And all of those birthdays, we've been unable to do anything. I mentioned in my last video that my own birthday was on opening day, but I was talking about the Giants home opener, which is Friday, which is my birthday. And, I will be in my little house with my mother, who I take care of. And I won't be seeing, we usually all get together, kids and me and family, whoever, and that won't be happening. So it's that feeling of everything being disrupted, and it just seems so bleak. And yet today I was thinking about Christmas, and I was thinking about my next birthday, and I was thinking about, my sister and I often say, if we have a trip, if we have a trip to plan for, even if it's like a year away, you have that whole building up to it, and it gives you something to look forward to. And so I thought about that. We should plan a trip. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we should, think about this next trip that we want to make. And it gave me hope, and it lifted me, and it made me happy, just that I was able to sort of confront the now, and deny that it defines my reality, because hope and tomorrow should be what I'm looking at to define my reality, your reality. So I just want to encourage you to spend some time. And I know that, we live in the now, and that's a good thing, and to understand our current moment. And it's good to live in the now, but it's also good to imagine, to plan for a future, to sort of sit, if you believe in manifesting, and I do in a lot of ways. I believe, as I said in our last video, in our personal power, that we create our own reality. If you believe in any of that, and even if you don't, try um, to think of the future and to plan these things, to have an idea that there is something beyond the density of our day-to-day lives right now, can only help lift your own vibration. And as we do it together, lift the vibration of this planet and help us move into this future, the future that we all start to envision, faster, quicker, happier, with this positive potential. We can make a positive potential have. And this King of Cups plays into that, because it's this idea of recognizing that we can do better in the future. We can hold people accountable for a better future. We can elect, promote, follow people who promise and who live their ideal of building this more loving, more gentle, kinder, happier, brighter future on so many levels. And so if we will take the time today, and even with your family, you can do this even with very small children, is to talk to them about the future. And it doesn't have to be, and well, after this, if we get through this, we're going to do this, because that contains some of that negativity. Just talk about the future. What is it that you wanted to do, that you were looking forward to before all this happened and made us start just thinking about every minute of every day? What were you looking forward to? What do you want to do? What do you realize while we're going through that it is important to you? And I'm talking about tangible things. Obviously, we all understand, even on a deeper, much deeper level, how important our family and friends are, and our King of Cups leaders, those things like that. We understand that. But what things were just going to give you joy? Um, I had something come up on my Facebook timeline that was from a trip that my sister and I took before, and I said, we need to go back. We need to go back and do that again. Let's plan on doing that again. And as I said, I was thinking about Christmas time, and where we're going to meet. Like, how could the family all be together? Um, or even like my birthday next year. What are we going to do next year for my birthday? I had thought about, just skipping this year and just staying this age for another year, but in the spirit of acknowledging what's going on, but still also acknowledging that we have a wonderful and joyous and beautifully possible future. I'll just think about what I want to do for next year, where I want to be living next year, how I want my life to look like, what things do I want to do, where do I want to go shop, all of those things. Just take a little bit of time to look at the future, to see the future, to understand that this is a moment in time, a particularly challenging, dense, and difficult moment in time, but it is a moment. It's not the entirety. So as we look to the future, I believe it will help us raise our vibrations, raise the vibration of um, our local selves, our state selves, our government selves, our planetary selves, raise the vibration and move things toward that better and brighter future in a faster, more cohesive, and more coherent way. Because as we know what we want, we're able to better attain it. We're able to draw it to us when we know what it is that we're looking for, when we know that we're not going to settle for anything less than the King of Cups as an ideal for a leader and as an ideal for our lives. We know that. We can work toward it. We can draw it to us. So I encourage you all to do that. I hope this was helpful. Hopefully I'll be able to think of other things that are helpful with the help of my guides who will help me whenever I'm able to get into that sort of meditative mode. And your guides are there for you as well. As I said, these masters also who are guiding us through this are there for you as well. And if you'll just reach out and ask for the help. And I think that's true of people too. If we help others and if we ask for help, we're all going to be better off. And I think we are all going to be better off. It's difficult, but we can do it. So take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I'm Kris, and I'm your clairvoyant. And until next time, bye-bye.